There are plenty of pros and cons to being born into the spotlight. Just ask these celebrity kids. Fame and fortune simply smiled on them since they came into this world. Most of these stars don't even need a day job, but they went on to make a name for themselves anyway. Make sure to watch this video to find out which of our favorite celebs were born into privilege and wads of cash. Before we jump into it, make sure to like this video and subscribe to The Taco for more great content. Willow and Jaden Smith. Willow and Jaden Smith don't know what it's like to go hungry thanks to their famous parents, Jada Pinkett and Will Smith. Jaden is a successful actor, rapper, and singer who's got so much money, he doesn't even know what to do with it. He even thought about building a 12-foot-tall pyramid in his backyard, just for kicks. Meanwhile, his little sister, Willow, is following in her big bro's footsteps. She's making her own way into Hollywood as an actress, singer, and dancer. But if any of their careers flop, they've got their parents' estimated $300 million net worth to lean on. Hailey Baldwin. It's safe to say that money will never be an issue for supermodel babe Hailey Baldwin. If you've been living under a rock, you probably didn't know that Hailey is the daughter of actor Stephen Baldwin. She's also Alec Baldwin's niece. And as if growing up in a star-studded family wasn't enough, she's also allegedly married to pop singer Justin Bieber. So with all these famous people in her life, it's safe to say that she won't need to rely on her 401k when she retires. Of course, she doesn't need her family's fortune to survive and get ahead in life. Hailey has been modeling for years, already gracing the covers of dozens of magazines. Arguably, the girl is a total queen on the runway, which is always a plus if you plan on making modeling your full-time job. Bella and Gigi Hadid. Bella and Gigi Hadid aren't twins, but sometimes it's hard to tell them apart because they're both so freaking gorgeous. But the famous sisters were already filthy rich long before they became models. They grew up in a 35,000 square foot mansion worth a whopping $85 million. And believe it or not, their dad, developer Mohammed Hadid, designed their less than humble abode. Aside from growing up with a massive backyard, the Hadid sisters relied on their mom to stay grounded. Yolanda Hadid knew all about the modeling world because she was a model herself. Yolanda told Bella and Gigi that in order to succeed in this industry, they were going to have to work hard and show everyone some respect. Lily Rose Depp. Perhaps you've never heard of Lily Rose, but you're probably familiar with her dad, Johnny Depp. The iconic actor has played many roles across the years, but her father isn't the only one on the spotlight. Vanessa Paradis, who's Lily Rose's mom, was a pop star singer and actress as well. Needless to say, Lily Rose is pure Hollywood royalty. She grew up backstage at her mom's concerts, but she also visited her dad on set whenever he was shooting a movie. So naturally, she wanted to become famous too, even if it meant putting school on hold. She told Vanity Fair that neither Johnny or Vanessa were in a position to tell her, "Get your diploma first." Judging by her family fortune, she's obviously right. Paris Hilton. Paris is arguably the most famous heir in Hollywood. The blonde socialite owes her famous status to her great-grandfather, Conrad Hilton. Sounds familiar? That's because he was the founder of the Hilton Hotels. But if that wasn't enough, her dad, Rick Hilton, is the chairman and co-founder of real estate firm Hilton and Highland. Of course, she didn't just sit around on her inheritance. Paris has earned her own cash through a number of appearances and endorsement deals. She now owns her own line of clothing, perfumes, lingerie, and dog clothes. The girl is so successful, she's worth a rumored $300 million. Sophia Ricci. Sophia Ricci has been rubbing elbows with the rich and famous her entire life. She's friends with the Kardashians and Cara Delevingne, and she was Michael Jackson's goddaughter before his untimely passing. But she owes her Richie Rich status to her famous dad, Lionel Richie. He managed to sell over 100 million records. This allowed Sophia to grow up in a quiet 1920s Renaissance-style villa, with servants at her beck and call. Of course, she's not doing too bad for herself. As a model, she's worked for major brands like Chanel, and undoubtedly earned thousands of dollars in chump change. Georgia May Jagger. The daughter of Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones never has to work a day in her life, unless she wants to. After all, her dad and her mom, Jerry Hall, made a combined net worth of about $320 million. But Georgia May wanted to make a name for herself, despite being born into fame. And thanks to those lips and legs she inherited, she was able to walk the runway and win the title of Model of the Year in the UK when she was only 17. But besides being a fashion model, she's dabbled as a designer and a photographer, which undoubtedly made her parents super proud. Emma Roberts. Emma Roberts was inspired by the arts thanks to her stepdad, musician Kelly Nichols, but she's also the niece of actress Julia Roberts, whom she undoubtedly looks up to. Emma's net worth is about $15 million, so she still has a long way to go before she catches up to Auntie Julia's net worth of around $140 million. But she's been working like a boss on films and on shows like American Horror Story, so she'll get there in no time. The girl is a total hard worker, but it probably didn't hurt that she had a famous auntie to get her career started either. Kendall and Kylie. Kendall and Kylie Jenner weren't just born pretty, they were also born filthy rich. Their dad, Caitlyn Jenner, has an approximate net worth of $100 million, and their mom, Kris, is worth around $60 million. But Kylie didn't sit on her laurels either. Forbes named her one of America's richest self-made women for a reason. Her lip kits line is worth about $800 million. Kendall's no slacker either. She became the highest paid model in 2017. Plus, she runs her own clothing line and is worth about $18 million. Obviously, being born with a silver spoon and a bunch of contacts in the industry really pays off too. Dakota Johnson. When Dakota Johnson appeared in 50 Shades of Grey, no one realized that she came from a famous family. It turns out that she's the daughter of none other than actress Melanie Griffith and actor Don Johnson. Her parents' combined net worth is an estimated $137 million. This undoubtedly explains how she was fortunate enough to study at the Aspen Community School. Her childhood was so privileged, she even got to participate in a photo shoot for Teen Vogue when she was growing up. So while she is one of the privileged few, she has made headlines all on her own. Miley Cyrus. Miley Cyrus has made a ton of money in her music career, but music runs in her veins too. Her dad is country music star Billy Ray Cyrus. In fact, you could say Miley was a good luck charm for her dad. A couple of months before she was born, her dad released the single Achy Breaky Heart, which became a #1 hit. While Miley is super talented herself, perhaps if it hadn't been for her dad's estimated net worth of $50 million, she would have never been able to build her epic empire. Adam Levine. Adam Levine took it easy as a kid thanks to the great success of his family. His dad, Fred Levine, was the founder and owner of a retail clothing line. This allowed the Maroon 5 talented singer to attend private school, where he met two of his future bandmates. As a kid, he showed musical potential too, so his family sent him to the French Woods Festival of the Performing Arts. But his dad had more of an influence on him than any of us realized. Levine has a menswear line of his own at Kmart, so now he's a musician, an entrepreneur, and he's super hot on top of that. Blake Lively. Blake Lively played a super rich socialite on Gossip Girl, but it turns out that she didn't have to study for the role at all. Her dad, Ernie Lively, starred in The Dukes of Hazzard in the 70s and 80s, but while her parents were undoubtedly well set, she didn't exactly live the life of her TV counterpart, Serena van der Woodsen. "I was never around wealthy kids," she said. In fact, she was raised in the not-so-glamorous Burbank, California. Now she's living a fairy tale life with her handsome husband, 2 adorable kids, and a thriving acting career. Paris Jackson. Paris Jackson is a gal living a pretty cozy life, much like her dad, Michael Jackson, did. She was raised at her father's massive ranch, so clearly, she didn't grow up wanting anything. And after the pop star's untimely passing, she earned a massive lump sum of millions after his estate was sold in 2016. She wound up receiving a part of her inheritance when she turned 18, and she'll allegedly receive another chunk of cash when she turns 30. But Paris Jackson's had a tough time coping with life in the last couple of years. Sosie Bacon. Sosie Bacon is a defiant little tyrant. Her parents didn't want her dabbling in the acting pool, but that didn't stop her from appearing on shows like 13 Reasons Why. She probably couldn't resist the urge to act. After all, her parents Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick are both actors. Collectively, Bacon and Sedgwick earned around $46 million across their lives. Needless to say, when Sosie asked for that Malibu Barbie on her birthday, she probably got it. Now she's earning about $250,000 a year, but we have a hunch that her paychecks are going to get bigger once her career really takes off. Lily Collins. Lily Collins' dad was an English rock god, but her mom has a pretty impressive career too. She was president of the Beverly Hills Women's Club for 3 terms. So with these 2 creative and financial influences in her life, Lily took Hollywood by storm. But it wasn't always easy, because her dad wasn't around much when she was growing up. In fact, he moved from England to Switzerland when she was 5, which really hit her hard. But this didn't stop her from attending the Creon Ball, or growing up to become an actress. She even played Snow White alongside Julia Roberts on the movie Mirror, Mirror. Robert Downey Jr. Growing up as the son of super-rich actor and filmmaker Robert Downey Jr. opened plenty of doors for him and his mom, but his dad had a couple of issues with controlled substances, which deeply affected Robert. He thought that imitating his lifestyle was the only way to bond with his dad, but by the time he had grown up, Jr. had his own issues too. But that didn't stop him from having one massively successful career. Once he cleaned up his act, he was back in the spotlight for the right reasons, proving he truly is an Iron Man. Ariana Grande. This pop princess didn't really have to worry about landing a good job growing up, but as it turns out, she can crank out hits like the best of them. But she truly needs to thank her dad, CEO of IB Designs Edward Butera, for her lavish childhood and great Hollywood contacts. The Florida-based company is a highly successful graphic design firm that has several celebrities as clients. Ariana Grande is reportedly worth $50 million. Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran has a voice that can make your soul quiver, but he also had a lot of money growing up. His dad was an art curator, and his mom was a culture publicist. Together, they provided him with a bougie upbringing, and yet he was homeless for 2.5 years. Well, sort of. The media reported that Ed had been homeless in the past, but as it turns out, none of it is true. Now he wants everyone to know that he was never homeless. On an interview with MTV, Ed explained that at some point, he wasn't able to keep living in his London apartment. Then he started sleeping on friends' couches simply because he loved it. Taylor Swift. If there's a celebrity to be totally jealous of, it's Taylor Swift. The girl seems to have it all, even a very idyllic, wealthy upbringing. Fans can certainly relate to Swift's relationship woes over the years, but her childhood is a different story. Her dad, Scott Kingsley Swift, is a wealthy financial advisor who comes from a long line of bank presidents. So there's no doubt that her parents were able to give Swift everything she ever wanted, but maybe having a wealthy family is how she was able to exercise her musical talent and become the pop star she is today. Were you surprised that some of these celebrity kids made it on this list? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to The Taco.